All right, good afternoon. Today I'll be refuting Jonathan High's claim that the quarter system to semester system switch will fail to benefit Cal Poly Pomona. His secondary claims were firstly that the switch from the quarter system to the semester system will cost Cal Poly Pomona, and that we don't have that kind of money to spend on such a thing. His second claim was that students will learn less over the year, and his third claim was that students will end up paying more because it will take longer to graduate. He also had a fourth claim, which was that Cal Poly Pomona's educational value will decrease in both quality and diversity. In response to his first claim, it is only partially true that it will cost a huge amount and that we don't have that amount of money available. He quotes Horace Mitchell as saying that it will cost about $3 million to perform such an action from the Pioneer newspaper. And in the same article, they bring up a Michael Uhlenkamp, who is the Director of Public Affairs for the Chancellor, who says that although there is a large initial fee for such a change, that a long-term cost benefit is the result. He's quoted as saying, if you are moving from doing something 3 times a year to doing it only twice a year, there are cost savings. Like the registration period at the beginning of each quarter is now reduced to a 2-time registration instead of the 3-time. That reduces how much you have to pay each year. But that wouldn't matter if what his claim was that we are in a budget crisis, that we don't have the $3 million in order to pay that. But the fact is that the Cal Poly Pomona Financial Resources reports for the past 4 years indicate an increasing budget rather than a decreasing budget. In 2012 and 13, it was $108 million. 2014 was $121 million, and last year it was $143 million. This indicates that we do have the money necessary in order to go do this change. His second claim, that the switch will cause less learning to go on, less content to be covered each year, ignores the idea that there is a redistribution of knowledge. He makes the claim that in Cal State University of East Bay, they're expected to lose 5 classes in each major. And that is true that you are expected to lose classes from a quarter to semester switch. But that isn't because you're losing content from those classes. Rather, it's because of a redistribution of that content over a different period of time. The Cal Poly Pomona FAQ on the topic of semester conversion says that a department may choose to simply convert their curriculum, combining 3-quarter courses into 2 semester courses. That doesn't remove the content from those courses, it just redistributes them around. His third claim was that the time to graduation will increase because you'll end up having to take fewer classes each year. That again ignores another aspect of the conversion, and that is that the unit is different between the quarter and the semester system. He claims that because the classes are longer, you have to take fewer classes every year, and so you end up having to graduate later, and that means you end up having to pay more. But the FAQ again is quoted as saying, typically, when converting from quarter units to semester units, quarter units are divided by 1.5 to calculate semester values. Each quarter unit is equivalent to 2/3 of a semester unit. Thus, even though the classes are longer and you can take fewer of them, you end up getting more credits for them. And because of that, you end up graduating at about the same time. He goes on to bring up another point that says if you fail a course in a quarter system, that you have to take a quarter to get those credits for it. And in a semester system, you have to take a semester. And that difference would then account for longer graduation times. But if that were true, we would see a increased time for graduation expectancy in semester systems. But an article written by Concordia University says that in quarter calendars, students generally graduate 1 month after their semester calendar peers. And the 1 month can only be accounted for by the difference in tendency for quarters to be start a month or so after semesters tend to start. But overall, that suggests that they graduate at around the same time, which would not be the case if what he was saying were true. His fourth and final claim says that the semester switch will reduce the educational value in both quality and diversity of Cal Poly Pomona. The second point of that, the diversity of the educational value, is covered in his second point. It's just a reworking of that, saying we'll learn less or we'll have fewer different things to learn is the same thing. But the first point, in terms of quality, it seems counterintuitive to suggest that because you're spending more time in a class, you're going to have a less quality experience in that class. And in fact, that same article from Concordia University suggests exactly the opposite, that the longer exposure allowed in a semester calendar allows for better quality of instruction. And in fact, the Poly Post agrees with that point, saying that the slower pace allows for students to adjust to their new classroom settings and also allows teachers to get more in-depth with their subject matter. This suggests exactly the opposite of what he said, that the quality of teaching is more improved in the semester system rather than the quarter system. Overall, because it is not more expensive than we can afford, and it ends up improving how much money we get, and it doesn't reduce learning in classes, it doesn't cause graduation times to increase, and the quality of learning is improved, I conclude that the claim that the quarter system to the semester system switch will fail to benefit Cal Poly Pomona is a false claim. Thank you.
All right, organizationally, you did a good job at the beginning of the speech and throughout the presentation labeling the claims that you're responding to. It's very easy to follow. I thought your analysis of the advocate's argument and then your response to the argument and then you're providing evidence to support your response was a consistent issue that you did throughout the presentation that made your position seem very reasonable. You also did a lot of contrasting between the position that you were taking and the one that the advocate cited. There was challenges to some of the premises that the advocate was presenting, and usually those challenges were given right immediately as you got to each of those points, and then you gave us a different context and additional evidence to support those particular points. So I thought you did a very good job on all of those sorts of things. It was easy to follow, easy to understand, and I thought you did a pretty good job presenting evidence on those points. One of the things I think you need to do a little bit more of was maybe look at the evidence that the advocate used, either the fact that there wasn't any evidence that demonstrated that particular point, or that the evidence that they used was flawed in some way. I think that would have been a little bit more helpful. You did a good job when it came to the reasoning process on that, but less so when it came to the evidence. But that's a minor quibble. Otherwise, everything was kind of like textbook the way you're supposed to be doing it. All right, thank you.